All right, today we are watching The Challengers and comparing it to the book. Raquette avec un beat. Obviously, we loved Challengers, the movie. It made us frothy. Take a listen. Intense. But today we'll be comparing it to the book. Let's get into it. Scene for scene comparison.
Donaldson the third, ready?
One difference. In the books, Art Donaldson's character has a foxtail that extends out of his cute little shorts.
And it's crazy how much they muffle the grunts in the movie. In the book, I mean, it's pages of grunts. Yeah, at points you entirely forget they're even playing tennis.
Yeah, and the book's not that long. Most of the book is grunts.
It's about 20% grunts, and then the rest of it is just mostly describing the audience members turning their head back and forth vigorously.
It's funny that they got Zendaya to play the main woman, because in the books, it describes her as a burly woman with cube-shaped breasts and jagged teeth. So I always thought Zendaya was an interesting pick to play that character. A lot of times movies will soften aspects of the character.
Mommy, what's up? Can we watch Spider-Verse?
Of course we can. Of course we can. Come here. We're just talking about tennis right now.
But you're always talking about tennis.
I know.
Yeah, another interesting change they made in the books when the daughter says you're always talking about tennis. Art, in a kind of a surprise, I mean, because he's so simpy as a husband, but as a father,
Yeah,
she says you're always talking about tennis, and then Art gets up, throws her against the table, cracking his daughter's skull, and says, "Do not talk to your mother that way." It just goes to show in the books he's a much more nuanced character. Like, he's a simpy husband, but an extremely abusive father with a foxtail.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's weird is directly after that, he talks a lot about how much he doesn't like the Spider-Verse movie. And that's
I'm measuring, there's a good 7 pages rebuffing the Spider-Verse, basically explaining why the Spider-Verse is extremely overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, he beats his daughter, do not talk to your mother that way. And by the way, the art in the Spider-Verse, it induces a headache, is what Art says. And all this was cut for them. I mean, again, you get why they cut it. It's a different medium, but I feel like you lose a bit of the character.
I think it's because Zendaya is a little soft on Spider-Man related content. That's what that was the underlying feeling. They had to cut all that out. I mean, it was a whole chapter in the book,
right?
In effect,
why Spider-Verse was overrated. But then weirdly, in only one sentence in a later chapter, they say, "But Across the Spider-Verse was solid." But nuances at every turn with this book. You never know. It keeps you on your seat. The movie's fine. I highly recommend the book.
Or you keep being a tennis player. Which is what you are. Still. What do you want?
In the books, when she says, "What do you want?" he starts yelling, "Chocolate milk." And then after he gets to chocolate milk, he goes, tennis.
But it's weird because Zendaya keeps going, "Only the tennis boys get the milk." Only the tennis boys.
It's practically her quote throughout the entire book. Only the tennis boys get the milk. And the fact that it didn't make it into the movie was shocking to me.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the tagline of the movie.
I really thought so, too.
Challengers, only the tennis boys get the milk.
Only the tennis boys, yeah.
It's weird just how they wrote Zendaya's character. She does not speak good English.
No. Broken, angry English. She's a tough, huge, monstrous beast in the book.
Yeah.
Also, frankly, the scenes where she breastfeeds the main character are some of my favorite in the book, and I was pretty let down that they don't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's how she shows... In the book, it seems to be what her love language is breastfeeding.
Well, also, it thematically works because it's like a love triangle. They both thrive on Zendaya's character's approval and affection, which in the book is represented through her yellow-curdled milk that comes from her big, awful boobs. In the book, he has hooks for hands.
Oh, I was going to say he had much smaller hands. His little boy hands.
Yeah. In the books, Art has distinctly boyish hands.
Yeah, his biggest fear for why he doesn't think he'd be a good tennis player is because he can barely hold the racket.
Right.
Yeah. A big serve, a big hit to him, slips the whole thing slips out of his hands. Yeah.
Also, I don't understand why they made this change. So in the movie Challengers, his name is Art Donaldson, but in the book, his name is Art Donald Trump. And I mean, all right, if you're going to kowtow to politics, I guess do what you got to do, but just come on. Woke mob, it's a book.
I mean,
you're supposed to be progressive and you're basically book burning. In this scene in the books, he offers to make love to her in exchange for a room, and she takes him up on it, but then doesn't give him the room. And it's just, I mean, it's hard to read, and you feel bad. Now, these two characters are interesting. They gave them much more subtle dialogue. In the book, those two guys walk in, and the one guy says, quote, I'm gay, yippee, and the other guy says, not as gay as me, hee, which is the only part of the book that rhymes. And I don't know if the author, if Justin, however you say his last name, thinks that gay people rhyme.
Instead, they both, one goes, I'm gay, and only tells the truth. And one goes, I'm gay, and only tells lies.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is meandering, frankly. I was going to say, in the books, this guy who runs up to the car is the fastest man in the world. The scene plays out exactly the same, except he is the fastest man.
I just think it's weird how they, I mean, this is what we were saying earlier about how they're milding down the move, but he is way more homeless in the book. Like,
in the books,
way more homeless.
In the books at this point, Peter is literally wearing toilet paper.
Yeah. Demanding crack cocaine.
Yeah, and when people say he has to put on clothes, he just keeps telling them he's a mummy. He's a crack mummy. Here's a fun little... I like when books do sort of historical fiction, but the reason mummies don't have noses is because it's so they can fit more crack up there, which is what Peter Zweig says in this scene to that other guy, who is the fastest man alive. Yes. The other thing I didn't like that they cut in this scene is that Peter masturbates all night and edges until moments before this guy comes. And again, this book is it's supposed to be an exploration of sexuality. So I'm like, why did you get rid of the edging scene? In the movies, I guess to make it more realistic, they made Zweig serve a little quirky, but in the books, he holds the rackets with reverse grip.
Yeah.
And all of his tennis grunts are much more like, or maybe that's just how I was reading them.
No, that was just how you read them. That none of that.
In the books, you didn't think they felt racial.
No, you definitely. That's you personally added that.
I swear at some point in the books he uses his fingers and pulls his eyes slanty. But maybe I don't remember that. That could be. I mean, that's the thing about reading. You miss things, you add things. Your imagination really is the filter.
Warning.
Yeah, there's all this tension in the movie about which one of them is the better player. In the book, it's very clearly Paul. He is way better at tennis.
Who's Paul?
Who's
Peter?
Shit.
In the books, there's a third guy in the love square named Paul,
who's way better at
super good at tennis.
Yeah, he doesn't grunt. He just plays good.
Luckily, he dies really early, so the story can commence. In the books, he lets out a gnarly fart right when he does that.
Yeah, and
it actually creates a smoke trail on the ball.
Dedication to tennis. When he does that, he's actually destroying his testicles.
He smacks himself in the. What's funny is in that scene, I don't think they do it in the movie, but this scene in the books, the racket does not make contact with the ball. The racket hits his testicles, which hit the tennis ball. And the pain is so intense that he lets out an involuntary fart.
It's actually entirely unnecessary that his testicles into the balls, but he does it to show his dedication to the sport. As a true sacrifice to the game.
It also forces a fart out, which art, of course, smells greedily. People do things. I mean, it's full of the author loves the word greedily. I'm finding sort of an overuse
very
of the
lazy.
word greedily.
Yeah, very bad writing. Disgusting and gross, but also bad. Oh, and they return that. That's what.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a stupid. In the books, they do get there. It's a stupid hit. You shouldn't do that.
The scene's tough because Peter's on the ground in agony. Art is deeply inhaling a fart and is very distracted. They're incredibly open.
The other guys easily return it and score the point.
They win the game, but everyone's very confused and distraught by that one.
They aren't invited. In the books, they're not invited to the medal ceremony because they consider that sexual assault of the entire crowd.
And they were like, well, you did all the rest of it was a great performance. What was that?
What was that one part? Yeah, and they just, I guess they got excited.
Yeah, the ball boy did not pick up that ball. They,
No.
they let that one. They don't know why they're like, we're not touching that.
Yeah, no, it's still there. When they cut back to the present day, that ball is still there.
Yeah. 14
And
years
it's still
later.
smoking.
Yeah.
with the fart fumes.
Yeah.
And winner of the Junior Australian Open, Tashi Duncan.
In the books, the character's name is Tushy Dunkin' Donuts.
Look at that fucking backhand.
Yeah, I mean, another quick cut. In the books, that leg grab is a full hand job that lasts several minutes, and the game stops. The whole crowd, Tashi and Amanda, or whatever the other girl's name is, notice what's happening, and it's actually... It's fun that they did the research about tennis, but in tennis, it's just like a tennis custom or like an etiquette thing that when two men are giving each other a hand job in the stands, that the game pauses.
The previous moment where he goes, watch that backhand, that's actually what she says while watching them.
Watch that. Well, yeah, what a backhand.
Yeah.
Because the way you do a tennis hand job is
That's why it took so long.
So yeah. The people who play tennis are courteous that they wait for that to finish.
In the book, she can't actually see. She relies on her enemy grunting.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest changes. In the movie, she yells, "Come on." In the books, she yells, "You fat retard, I'm going to pinch your nips." It's kind of her catchphrase. It's her other catchphrase besides only tennis boys get the milk.
Yeah.
Was that what it was? I can't. Sorry. I usually have this bookmarked, but I don't have it.
Yeah, I think it's only tennis boys get the milk.
Only tennis boys get the milk.
We did that. Yeah,
and you fat retard, I'm going to pinch your nips.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. That's Tushy Dunkin' Donuts' big lines.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be part one of our comparison of the challengers to the book Roquette avec un beat. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel and you will see part two shortly. Also, if you enjoyed this and you live in the New York City area, I will be filming my comedy special on June 16th at Flophouse Comedy Club, which is the comedy club that me and Nathan, who's gone, it's the comedy club that we founded. So if you are free, we hope you will join us for that. Thank you so much. That has been part one. Bye-bye.